My name is Jerry Ruiz and we're here with Taylor Industries. Today's topic we're going to be discussing how to properly adjust your brake disc on your drawworks. Before we get started, there's a couple things you need to take in mind. First thing you need to do is make sure you secure your block, either lower to the ground and tie it down or use a chain. Second of all, make sure you set your parking brake. And the last thing you need to do is make sure the engine is off. Then the tooling that we're going to use is you're going to need an 1/16 open wrench and a 15/16 open wrench. And the proper tool that you'll need to adjust your brakes is going to be 2 shims, 0.025 on each side of your brake calipers, brake pads, I'm sorry. And that's going to be your adjustment tool to use every time you need it. Now that you release your brakes, you need to get your 1/16 wrench and release your caging tool that you're going to be applying to your brake calipers. It's got a little T-handle, and basically what you do, you stick it in the T-handle that's inside of the brake chamber, rotate it, get your flat washer, and screw your nut all the way in. Make sure you use your wrench to have a full tightness. And now you know your brake pads are fully released. Then you need to get your 15/16 wrench, open wrench, and loosen the lower nut of your brake caliper. And before you start opening or closing your brake pads, while you're doing this, you can always make sure you check your pins, make sure there's not crack or damage. Make sure your rollers inside of your calipers, they're nice and smooth, there's no grooves or they've been cracked. And make sure your wedge is in good operation. The same thing with your pins. You want to inspect your pins, make sure there's not crack, wear or damage, and always make sure you got plenty of grease into each insert. Now that you inspect all that and everything looks good, and you're loosening up your lower nut so you can have some movement up or down, you grab your 0.025 shims, and basically you want to put them between the brake pad and the brake disc to ensure that you know where to stop. And then you can start moving your upper nut up or down. Either you need to tighten it or loosen it. If you go down, you're going to tighten your brake pads, and you're going to allow to make sure that you have enough clearance between the pad and the brake disc for proper adjustment. Once you got the proper gap between it, where you can move this up and down, then you know you're at the right place where you want your brake calipers, your brake pads to be on. Then what you do, you're going to tighten back your lower nut. And make sure your upper nut is tight. You release your shims. Take your caging tool and remove it. Make sure you always put your caging tool back on the brake caliper, brake chamber, because that's very important for you to use at all times. grab your 1/16 wrench and slightly tighten it so it won't fall off. And you move on to your neck brake caliper to do the same thing. We want to thank you for allowing us to show you how to properly adjust your brake system on your brake disc. If you have any questions or would like us to come over and do some work for you, please don't hesitate to give us a call at the phone number listed at the website at www.taylorindustries.net.